Success is not luck. Every hit indie game shares 9 specific traits, and the more of them you nail, the higher your chances are of finishing your game and succeeding on Steam in 2026. So today I'm giving you the exact success matrix that we teach in my Ultimate Indie program. It's a 3x3 framework that will guide your game towards success. So hello everyone, I'm Imphenzia and welcome to Simple Game Dev, where we keep things achievable so you can ship games instead of dreaming about them for years. In the next few minutes, you'll get the complete 9-cell success matrix. You'll learn exactly what separates games that quickly disappears from the ones that gets thousands of wishlists and glowing reviews. By the end, you'll be able to score your own game in every cell and know precisely what to fix next. If you're a beginner or a solo dev, this is like a cheat sheet. So let's break it down, and here is the success matrix. The top row is how players feel when they discover and play your game. It's the big 3 5s. The middle row reflects if your game actually feel worth their time and money, and the bottom row is, will people even see it, and will they talk about it? Nailing more cells dramatically increases your chances of selling. If you miss a few or many of them, games can fail silently, and we blame it on bad luck. We'll go through row by row with super simple examples and actions that you can take this week. Let's start with the top row and the player experience and the big 3 5s. In the first cell, we have the 5-second wow. Someone scrolls past your X-post, video clip, GIF, or whatever you call it, Steam capsule or short, and at best you have 5 seconds to make them stop and think, I need to play this game. Not the first 5 seconds in the game necessarily, but what they see in the marketing material. The past few months I've collected some examples of the 5-second wow, and I'll show that in a more detailed video. And a recent post of mine achieved the 5-second wow myself with about 170,000 views in a few days compared to a few hundred views that my posts normally get. Here's an action step for you. Record a 5-second test clip right now and post it on X or somewhere. No wow reactions? Iterate before you build more. In cell 2, we have the 5-minute stickiness. When players click play, you need to keep them in the game past the refund window. Not because they have to, but because they want to. Clear goal, fast pacing, zero confusion, no logo fades, no giant lore dump in the first few minutes, no unskippable cutscenes. I recently tried the Planet of Lana 2 demo, and here's a good example. They do have some unnecessary logo fades, but at least you can skip them. And then you go into beautiful visuals and music, on-screen controls, gradual introduction of mechanics, level design and visuals makes it easy to understand exactly what to do. Dying is fine, and you don't get frustrated because respawn points are close. And then the puzzle complexity ramps up gradually, and I got stuck here for a while, but realizing my little partner could jump higher than I could, and that I could set waypoints, and then there were some little visual hints that indicate that I could activate what I first thought was a shield. After that, I sailed past the 5-minute stickiness and got curious to keep playing. So here's a 5-minute stickiness action. Hand your game to a harsh but honest friend, in my case that's my son, and if they quit before 5 minutes, fix the onboarding. In cell 3, we have the 5-hour durability. Will they come back and play tomorrow and the day after? Provide enough content and smart replayability. In short games like Unfair Rampage, I used procedural levels, high score chase, achievements, and leaderboards as an example. In Line War, we have procedural worlds, we have multiplayer, and strategy games by nature offer great replayability value. Constantly ask yourself this question: why would my player give a crap about continuing? Make them care about the next upgrade, beating their friend, or seeing how the story ends. This is what turns one-time players into fans. On row 2, we have game value, and specifically in cell 4, we find worthiness. Does your game feel worth their $5 or $15 and their precious free time? Live up to the price. Sloppy marketing screams sloppy game, and Steam refunds are just kind of a try before you buy, and 10 to 20% refund rates are common. And price your game smart. Sometimes $4.99 with sales beats a $9.99 game with fewer sales. And it's not just about the pricing. Ask yourself honestly, is my game really worthy of success against 50 other games that are released every single day? Does it need more content? Better onboarding? More variety? Maybe it needs better polish. In cell 5, we have Freshness, which is kind of the same as remarkability. What makes someone say, you have to see this? It doesn't have to be 100% original, just fresh in its genre. Unfair Rampage Nightfall, it's a platformer, but the entire level crumbles under you. A horror game with bright lights instead of darkness. Rocket League, cars playing soccer. Good examples. So here's an action for you. Write down 3 things that make your game remarkable. If the list is empty, add one simple twist during prototyping. And then we've got cell 6, tightness. This is just pure polish. Everything feels responsive and professional. Tight controls, where jumping feels instant. Snappy UI, where menus pop, score numbers bounce like pinball, and the difficulty is balanced. Subtle visual effects, animations, particles, lighting, sound effects, all add to the polish. The rule is, don't add more features, tighten what you already have. My first platformer got destroyed for floaty physics and slow speed, and after many prototypes, Unfair Rampage became fast, direct, and tight with modern physics. Let's move to row 3, and that is marketing power. We've got eyeballs in cell 7. What is that all about? Well, getting people to see your game. Start marketing from day one. Devlogs, expos, and Discord updates while you're still prototyping. Don't wait until launch week. Even with a sizable YouTube audience, I have to hustle for every view, so be that person on the street corner that's handing out flyers about your pizza joint until people start talking. Be loud, be persistent, and find ways to attract eyeballs. Next in cell 8 is Shareworthy. Is it streamer and influencer friendly? Is it memeable? Is it variable? I've heard industry professionals saying that you can't design a game for this, but if we have this in mind and make solid choices in this direction, it will increase our chances. Getting over it can provide endless rage clips, and Among Us show group chaos and people accusing one another.
Where is the body? Alright, vote you right now! Tell me where the...
Speaking of which, did you know that I actually created this sound effect? And I got a couple of free plushies from the devs from it. Not only is the sound effect used in the game, but it's been played in billions of YouTube views, and every time I hear it on the TV, I shout to my kids, I made that sound. And it's part of my universal sound effects library, and you can actually get it from my site with a 30% discount with the code FAMOUSALARM. If you head to my website, link in the description, you can use that code. And if they can make millions with my sound effects, so can you. Anyway, add random elements, custom names, funny physics, shareable stats, anything that increases the chance of someone sharing content from your game. If a YouTuber plays it once and never again, it's not share-worthy enough. Finally, in cell 9, we have advocates. They are the true fans who promote you. Make your game moddable, make a Discord, and embrace the community. Give players things to care about and welcome their help. In Line War, people contributed to the wiki. They created battle spreadsheets, they helped balance the game and spread the word for free. Others built tools like a replay analyzer and even implemented features in the game like a replay, seek, and rewind feature. Great. So ask yourself, what can I add to my game that makes people want to help me and spread the word? Success isn't luck, it's hitting as many of these 9 cells as possible. If you're working on a game, here's your homework right now. Pause right here and look at the success matrix. Score your game from 1 to 5 in each cell and be honest with yourself. What is your weakest cell right now? If you add up all your scores, what's your total? Feel free to share your findings in the comments and begin to fix your weakest cell. If you want to know more about how to achieve a 5-second wow that I showed at the start of this video, click on this link and learn about the 5-second wow, why players decide in seconds, and how you can nail it.